Welcome, health supplement entrepreneurs. In today's show, we're going to be talking about quiz funnels. You're going to learn the 4 different types of health supplement quiz funnels that you can use to get leads and sales. Then we'll be looking at a proven structure that you can follow so that your quiz will be a success right out of the gate. Let's get on with the show. Welcome to Health Business Mastery, the Creative Thirst podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Hewitt. Okay, so let's kick it off with the 4 different types of health supplement quizzes. So a quiz funnel is a type of sales funnel that brings in customers and first asks them a series of questions before selling them. So quiz funnels have several benefits for a health supplement company, one of which is that it brings in a high number of new buyers into your email list to nurture, typically at a cost of about $1 or less per lead. On the consumer side, for the customer, most people love participating in quizzes. They love taking quizzes, mostly because they're pretty engaging and they're fun. For the marketer, a quiz funnel gives you more information about your potential customer. When done right, quiz funnels can also prime the visitor to buy, and it can also build trust and momentum towards your product. Most quiz funnels out there, however, are simply for lead generation. This is great, but lead generation funnels has a different set of economics than a cold traffic sales funnel. But for supplement entrepreneurs, it's vitally important to keep the business going with cash flow. And the name of the game really is to bring in more buyers. The more buyers, the more new buyers you can bring in, the more you can monetize them on the back end. So I typically stay away from recommending a lead funnel for supplement entrepreneurs and really go more towards getting right for the sale. Now, you can absolutely use a quiz funnel for that and at the same time capture a lead. You can have the best of both worlds because the lead you're capturing can then be remarketed to via Facebook, through their email. It could be sending directly emails to them on a nurture sequence, on an email nurture sequence to get them to buy. So there's lots of things you can do with that email list. You can then use that emails to send affiliate offers. There's tons of ways you can monetize that list. But the economics are completely different. If your business can afford to pay for leads and wait for the sale, then a lead generating quiz funnel could be great for you. But if you're more like our typical direct response dietary supplement clients, you want to go right for the sale immediately after the quiz. And in fact, designing the quiz to get you a sale as well as a lead. This type of quiz funnel approach is very different than one that's the main goal is to capture a lead, like you may see on like BuzzFeed. Those are very simple quizzes and not the type of quizzes we're talking about here today. Quiz funnels that I'm talking about now is ones in which the sale is the primary goal, and they're a bit more nuanced. And specifically for health supplement quiz funnel, there are even more nuances involved, and we're going to get into those. One of the differences comes in the hook. The hook is what grabs the visitor's attention. The visitor's attention then quickly turns into the reason why they want to take the quiz in the first place. So it really comes down to value. The quiz funnel hook has to provide some value to the quiz taker. For a health supplement quiz funnel, the value needs to go beyond the offer or the product that is available for sale after the quiz. If not, the visitor will only feel let down and the chances of them buying go dramatically down. So we've talked about marketplace sophistication in other episodes, and this ties in to this aspect right now in this quiz funnel, because it's a core principle that applies to every funnel. Let's look at it as it relates to a quiz funnel and the uniqueness factor of the hook. When you're starting your quiz funnel, you have to think about the customer at the center. The customer is always at the center of optimization and getting them to buy. So what kind of buyer are you targeting? Are you trying to get prospects that are new to the topic? Or are they more sophisticated buyers that know more about a health problem that they're looking to solve? This matters because the answer to that question affects the uniqueness factor that you need for a successful hook. If your target audience has a higher level of marketplace sophistication, then the quiz uniqueness does not need to be very high at all. It does not need a big idea and can be very straightforward. On the other hand, if your target audience has a lower level of marketplace sophistication, then your quiz really needs a big idea wrapped around the unique hook. Even the questions you ask for the type of market may be different. In either case, uniqueness can be expressed as the promise of the offer. Well, what do I mean by the promise? What is the promise of the offer? Well, remember, the offer of a quiz funnel is not the product, but rather the reason to take the quiz in the first place. The actual product offer comes secondly, only after the visitor has invested time in taking the quiz. That is, after the momentum is built up. That's when we introduce them to the offers to buy. That's a much different proposition than take this quiz to find out what you should buy from me. That's more of a product selector quiz, and we'll get into that type. But for now, let's take a look at the 4 different types of quizzes that work well for health supplements. Quiz funnel type 1 is what's your type? So the first quiz type is very simple. The uniqueness and hook is built into the payoff of taking the quiz. The implied promise of this type of quiz is to solve a problem. So your type is then used as the unique reason why the solution will work for you when all others haven't, because none of them addressed your particular type before. This is tied into the reason why people buy and one of the reasons why quiz funnels work. So it gives the impression that the solution is unique to you, the person taking the quiz, when in actuality, the product or the results of the quiz is the same for every single quiz type. Some examples of a what's your type quiz include what's your hormone type, what's your metabolic type, what's your carb type, what's your belly type, what's your heartburn type. The list goes on and on. You can literally insert anything here and make it a type. The core concept of the type quiz to find out what your type is built into the payoff of taking the quiz. So setting up a unique solution to a promise is key here. For example, finding your hormone type or finding your metabolic type or what is your carb type opens up a question in the mind of the person taking the quiz. They not only want to know what their type is, but suddenly their type becomes unique. And that uniqueness is what builds that trust and convincibility to buy after the quiz is over once you're presented with a solution. The solution then implies that it's going to be specific to your type. The opening or the lead copy of that kind of quiz addresses the type and it addresses what that type means before presenting the solution to that specific type's problem. The next quiz funnel type is what I call the What's Your Score quiz. This variation of the quiz funnel is more of a knowledge-based series of questions that then simply gives you a score. It basically tells you how much you know about a specific health concern. The answers to the questions are then used as points in the sales copy to come in and amplify the problem and then transition to the solution into the sale. This type of quiz, the score type of quiz, is best for those that are ultra concerned about compliance, since there's no implied connection or diagnostic between the health condition and the recommended solution, i.e., your dietary supplement product. Here are a few examples of the What's Your Score quiz. Each example is going to kind of be in the form of a little bit of hook sales copy. So here's the first one. Nearly 24 million Americans have diabetes. Test your knowledge on managing and even preventing the condition. You take the quiz, you find out your score, your knowledge of the subject of diabetes. Another example is, can crossing your legs cause spider veins? Does eating chocolate help rid breakouts? Bust these beauty myths by taking this quiz. So you see how the questions in the beginning are really designed to kind of hook you in and make you wonder. It's like, I don't know, does it or not? So you take the quiz to find the answers, but the quiz itself is also asking you questions around that topic to see how knowledgeable you are. It's not diagnosing anything. It's not producing a type as in a metabolic type. It's just saying, okay, here's what you know about this subject, and here's what maybe you didn't know. It builds curiosity. Another example is, not all carbs are created equal. See how well you know which carbs are healthy and which ones aren't. And here's the last one. Hearing loss can happen at any age, but it can be prevented. Test your smarts about how to save your hearing. And then you continue with a bunch of questions around hearing loss. This type of quiz is essentially a health IQ score. So the core concept or the result after the quiz is typically a low, medium, or high score as a result. One of three scenarios. Expressed either as a number or a grade like an A+, a C, a B. It really kind of rates how well you've answered the questions. But it's not really about the questions or your knowledge of the subject. It's really an introduction, a way to kind of grab you and pull you into the lead. So after you've been taking the quiz, you got your results. Okay, you are a B-, let's say, right? You answer the questions, but you got a few wrong. You're pretty knowledgeable. Acknowledge that on the sales page copy, and then transition into a lead, which then kind of pulls you in further and warms you up to buy. That's how What's Your Score quiz works. It can really be even blatant as, what is your heart health score? And give you a score based on your knowledge of heart health, and then sell you a heart health supplement. The third type of quiz is the custom plan or product selector type quiz. So it's which blank is right for you. This type of quiz funnel, again, has the unique value baked into it, like the first example, and the promise of a plan that is specific to you. It's very similar to the type quiz. The promise of the quiz is that you're going to get a custom plan that is the solution to your desired state. It asks basic questions about overall lifestyle, your goals, and other questions related to your supplements that is specific to the solution or the plan. For example, a keto plan would ask different questions compared to a skincare plan. So your custom plan sets up the quiz taker for the sale, since the natural next step is, here's your plan, and there are some key pieces that you need to buy in order to achieve it. So some examples of this type of quiz include get your personalized 28-day keto plan, or find the right vitamins that are personalized for you. This type of quiz is more of a diagnostics, and it's typically providing recommendations or a recommended bundle of products or different products based on your answers. So you could just go through the quiz and get presented product A, where someone else can go through the quiz and get presented product B as the solution. It's a little bit more of an advanced customization on the back end and a little bit more of the different variations that you need in your sales copy because you are selling them different products or different bundles of products based on their answers. The major difference between this type and some of the other previous types of quizzes is the reason for taking this particular quiz is different. There is no hook needed here since the quiz taker is trying to find out which product to buy. Whereas in the other quiz types, the reason why you're taking it is one or two steps removed from the product. The quiz taker gets some other inherent value from taking the quiz, like they get the customized plan, or they get to know what metabolic type they are, or they get a nutrition score. Then the results transition into selling a product. A product selector quiz funnel is more like a sales associate, kind of guiding the prospect to the right product for them. This quiz type captures intent versus interest. What I mean by that is that the person taking this type of quiz has a higher intent, much like someone searching for a specific keyword, than someone from another quiz type that is kind of just grabbed in by the hook and they want to find out their weight loss type. The fourth type of quiz is a condition quiz. An example would be, do you have this? Or will you get this? So it might look something like this. Do you have high blood pressure and don't know it? Then you take the quiz, you answer the questions, you find out presumably if you could be a candidate for high blood pressure. It's not diagnosing, but it is giving you information like, based on your answers. Most people with these answers suffer from this. What another example could be, what's the reason behind your itchy scalp? So again, you're targeting a condition in the problem state, and that's what you're using to attract these people to take the quiz. There's a little bit of curiosity, a little bit of anxiety built into that because they want to know the answer. The core concept of this type of quiz calculates your risk, essentially, for that condition, either around a known condition or a spin on an existing one. For example, what is your silent stressor? Something kind of made up that is used as the hook and pulls the reader in. Essentially, this quiz answers questions to help determine if you should be concerned about a specific topic. Following a proven structure is a great way to jumpstart anything, including a quiz funnel. So we just looked at the 4 different types of health supplement quizzes: what's your type, what's your score, the custom plan, the product selector, and the condition quiz. So now I want to talk about the kind of the template behind the quiz funnel itself. Just like the first type of quiz that we looked at, the approach here will focus on the structure and the strategy of each step. The quiz itself has several parts. The first we spoke about briefly is the hook. The quiz funnel hook has to provide some value to the quiz taker. Remember, it's about taking the quiz, not about the product. So the offer of a quiz is the reason to take the quiz in the first place. The actual product offer comes only second after the visitor has invested time in taking the quiz, once they've built up some momentum. That's a much different proposition than take this quiz to find out what you should buy from me, as in that fourth type of quiz. That third type of quiz. That type of quiz is called the product selector quiz, which I'm not going to include in this template that we're going to talk about. This template is going to be more for the other types of quizzes. So the hook is the first stage in this template, and next is the length of the quiz itself. 4 to 12 questions actually is reasonable for a quiz. 6 to 8 being the sweet spot, and the typical quiz that has more questions gives it the sense that the person is getting more customized of an answer. So don't be afraid to really expand the number of questions to up to 12 and really test even more if you think the test warrants it. So generally, with quizzes like the What's Your Type and the Custom Plan, 6 to 8 questions gives the impression that the results is customized. But for quizzes that promise a personalized result, the more questions, the better, but only up to a limit. Right, there will be a question fatigue at some point where the prospect can lose interest and is more likely to bail if there are too many questions. But it is worth certainly testing the number of questions that you do have. The question types are very important, and there's 3 different types of questions that you want to include in your quiz. Momentum questions, which are very early questions, like the first 2 or 3 questions in the quiz. They're quick questions that people know the answer to immediately. And they're just designed to kind of get you moving into the quiz, to build up momentum. Questions like, are you a man or a woman? You immediately know, you immediately hit the button. What's your age range? Questions like that are momentum questions. Then you want to elevate it to agitation questions. And agitation questions are questions that really hit the pain point of your market. So these can be used to pull in emotional copy later on in the lead based on the answers. You can get really fancy with this. These questions sound something like this. What best describes your body shape, right? If it's a weight loss quiz, that's an agitation question. How active are you? Again, another agitation question if you're going after an obese audience. How long have you been struggling with this on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, those are the types of education questions that you can put in the kind of middle of the quiz. Now, the next type of questions, the last set of questions, are the primer questions. These questions are typically the ones that the results are based on. So oftentimes in some of these quizzes, there's only one question that really separates people out into the different types, for example. Primer questions are questions like, what's the most important issue you want to solve? And which best describes you? Or how quickly do you need to lose X number of pounds? Or have you been diagnosed with X, Y, or Z? These are the questions that are really going to prime you for the answers that you're going to get on the back end of the quiz after you get the results. Once you're finished with the questions, you want to immediately ask for an email address. You don't want to just give them the answers. That is the very last question of your quiz. What is your email address? This way you're collecting a lead and you can market to them via email if they don't buy. The email question is the highest friction question of your quiz because they have to give you their email with something very personal about them. And that's the friction point where they know, like, well, I don't know if you're going to be emailing me a whole bunch of spam. And these are where questions come up in their mind. So getting an email, which is an opt-in at this step, helps a ton with the economics of the quiz funnel, because you should be able to get a lead for a quiz funnel for $1 or under $1. But not every lead will convert to a sale on the next page. But by getting an email address, you can market to them directly in their inbox, converting a few more of those people to offset your ad costs that didn't buy initially. You could also use those people to build a lookalike audience. However, to overcome the friction of entering your email, you must leverage the desire for the quiz results in exchange. So you don't just want to simply have a field for your email and a headline that says, get your results. That wouldn't convert very well. So you want to frame it around, your customized plan is available, but you need to enter your email in order to get it. Putting that carrot at the end of that stick, you can even give them a little piece of the answer, right? So you can give them a little bit of the results. Let's say you went with a type quiz. You could say, your hormone type is X, and get instant access to 4 customized tips or get instant access to a plan on the next page. Access is only temporary, so you need to review it now, put in your email address to get it. People who are this type often struggle with X, Y, and Z. You can really agitate the problem there before asking for their email. Believe it or not, email is really the logical next step for a quiz, especially with a customized plan or anything like that, where it's implied that the thing you're getting is more than just a simple 3-bullet answer. And we need to send those results. We need to send your answer somewhere. Where should we send it? The quiz questions page really is very straightforward. It's the most straightforward page in the funnel. It should present the questions one at a time, including a couple of key things. The first is you should include some sort of progress bar or indicator of how many questions there are remaining. This helps pull the prospect through to the end. You also should structure the quiz questions so that the easiest questions are first, like we talked about. For example, in the first question, are you a man or woman? The less the prospect has to think about that answer, especially in the beginning, the less friction there will be, and the higher quiz completion rate you will have. There's nothing worse than losing a prospect on question 3 because the question was too difficult. You can't sell someone your solution if they haven't completed your quiz. The other thing I'm seeing in a lot of quizzes is instead of a text-based answers, like multiple choice answers, I'm seeing image-based answers. So, for example, what is your body shape? And the choices are 4 different images. One is shaped like a pear, one is shaped like an apple, and et cetera, versus text, which kind of explains the body shape. Visually, people can go through it much quicker. And that gets us to the results page or the sales page. The impact of a quiz funnel is that the results are customized again based on your answers in some way, and the actual product mix could be customized at the very least. The messaging needs to be unique to the answers in order to leverage a quiz funnel to the full effect on the sales page. Because of this, you may have anywhere from 3 to 6, I've even seen up to 12 different versions that you're sending people to, 12 different sales pages or 6 different sales pages, at minimum usually 3. And on each one, the lead and the headline copy is different, but the remainder of the sales page is the same. The lead and the headline copy is where you want to focus here. Each quiz result should have a different headline and a different lead. The differentiation is the payoff for carefully selecting your answers. The better the customization, the better your sales conversion will be. So as long as you don't hand off to a generic page, your lead-in will actually build trust and credibility. Let's break down looking at the headline and looking at the lead. The headline is the reason the headline should be there. The headline is unique for that quiz result type. So the sales page or the results page should not look like a sales page. It should look like a results page. Based on your answers, you're a blank. This is a very different type of headline than you would find on a sales page. The hook is built into the pre-framing of the quiz to begin with. So that is, the prospect is taking the quiz to find out something, and the headline simply delivers on what that something is right away, immediately. Then you go into the lead copy. The lead copy is typically the first 700 or so words. For a funnel quiz, the lead may be longer because you want to establish the credibility of the results. The lead needs to give them the answers to the quiz as fast as possible, and then explain what that means for them. Again, remember, this is customized. This is specific for their type, their knowledge, their condition, their situation, their diagnostics, etc. The handoff is very important. What I mean by handoff is the point between the lead and the sales copy. The handoff section of the sales letter is where you connect the dots between the quiz results and the product that's for sale. From the handoff forward, you can reuse basically a simple or your existing long-form sales letter that, again, agitates the problem, builds that credibility, builds that trust, and then goes into introducing a solution. The only difference between a long-form sales page and a quiz page or quiz funnel really is that that lead and that headline and the hook or angle you're bringing them in on. Quiz funnels are a great funnel template to use to build a list really fast. You get the best of both worlds, right? You get buyers and you get leads. And as long as you're doing halfway decent of a job of converting those buyers immediately after they take the quiz, it'll work for you. And if you're taking advantage of all the leads that you're gathering and remarketing the quiz results to them in multiple email follow-up sequences with something designed to catch their interest before putting them onto their regular email list and try and sell them the customized results from the quiz again, this type of funnel can be a core driver of your dietary supplement business. Quiz funnels do take a bit more work to create because you have multiple different leads you need to write, and they do take a bit more to optimize and dial in to get working if you don't have your hook or handoff section right. But they are a great funnel for almost any business, in particular a health supplement business. It may not be the first funnel that you build if you're starting a health supplement company because it is a little bit more complex. There's a lot more moving parts to it. But once you're a little bit established, quiz funnels can be a great driver of leads and buyers. I hope you found this episode interesting and valuable. If you liked it, leave a review. And I'm just going to close out with where you can get some more information, where you can download some additional resources and information right now. Creative Thirst is a direct response digital agency focusing on conversion rate optimization and A/B testing. We work with dietary supplement companies who are struggling to maximize the profitability of their funnels so they can scale. Through the last 7 years in the online health space, we've optimized many dietary supplement businesses. And in that time, we've uncovered the 3 critical funnels for success. We put together that information in a free digital download called The 3 Funnels Every Health Supplement Business Needs to Build a Multi-Million-Dollar Empire. You can get that free report by going to creativethirst.com. Scroll down to the appropriate section and click on the blue Get Your ebook button.